Hey there, salon owners. If you're here, I know you're someone who is serious about taking your salon and your life to the next level. I've got some exciting things to share with you today. If you love the tips and strategies we talk about in this podcast, I've created something that will take your journey to the next level. A weekly email series packed with actionable business tips designed specifically for salon owners. These emails are like your personal coach showing up in your inbox every week with the exact steps you need to level up your business. From tracking metrics that matter most to creating systems that simplify your life, I'll walk you through the strategies that have helped countless salon owners, including me, growing a thriving business. Here's how you subscribe. It's super easy to join. Just head to www.opulentbeautypro.com and sign up for free. That's right, it's free. One tip every week, straight to your inbox, no strings attached. And as we speak of growth, for those of you ready to go all in, let me tell you about the Salon Owner Blueprint program. This is the ultimate roadmap for salon owners looking to scale their business, lead with confidence, and hit those big revenue goals. It's packed with strategies to help you master your finances, grow your team, and attract the dream clients who fuel your vision. Whether you're just getting started or looking to refine your systems, this program will give you everything you need to thrive. Want to learn more? Visit www.opulentbeautypro.com/blueprint and take the first step towards your next breakthrough. I also want to give a quick shout out to our exclusive podcast subscription. This is where you dive even deeper into the topics we touch on here. As a subscriber, you'll get bonus episodes, behind the scene content, the insider access to my personal strategies for growing a successful salon business. For just $7.99 a month, you'll get unparalleled insights that you can start using immediately to see results. It's like having a business coach in your pocket. So here's what I want you to do. Subscribe to my weekly email list at www.opulentbeautypro.com. Check out the Salon Owner Blueprint program if you are ready to make big moves. And don't forget to subscribe to the Elevate Insider for exclusive game-changing content. Remember, success is in your hands, and I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Hello and welcome to the Elevate Podcast. I'm your host, Patricia Nowakowski. I am a salon owner, educator, mindset, and leadership coach that helps salon owners go from overwhelmed and burnt out to motivated and empowered. It is my mission to help you systemize your business, generate more profit, and create a career that you are absolutely in love with. Join us every week to learn about the small shifts you can make to elevate your business regarding mindset, marketing, social media, business systems, and so much more. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Elevate Podcast. On today's podcast, we're going to be talking to my dear friend, Kaili, who is a salon owner who has really transformed her business from being in a place that was not successful and profitable to a place of feeling fulfilled and actually loving what she's doing every day. I really wanted to share this candid conversation with Kaili because I feel like so many salon owners are in a place where things are no longer working for them. They're not seeing the results in their business that they would like to see. Maybe they've gotten bad advice that just didn't work for their business. What I love about Kaili is that she has really pivoted and transformed her business and really been able to turn things around to create the results that she wants in order to fit the needs of her life and with what she's doing day to day. I want you to take a moment to introduce yourself and just give a little backstory of like who you are and your experience in the industry.
Hi, I'm Kylie. I own a salon in Benton Harbor, Michigan, which is in the southwest corner. I've been open for 2 years now, and I've been in the industry for about 13 years.
Today, I wanted to chat because I feel like you've come so far in your salon ownership journey. I think that so many people open salons blindly and
Yes.
really kind of have no idea on what they're doing. They feel lost and they're just looking for guidance and looking for a way to create solutions in their business so that they're successful. So, one of the things that I really wanted to chat with you today about is you kind of started off implementing things that did not work for your business. You've done an amazing job of actually turning them around and creating success for yourself, not only in the way that you feel about your business, but in the actual numbers and the facts of your business. So I would love for you to share and kind of chat about some of these bad methods and things that you've implemented in your business that just didn't work and that kind of made you take a direction in your business that just eventually did not work for you.
One of the things that I've definitely been changing in the past couple months that I started doing when I opened was giving my employees a lot of freedom. And by freedom, I mean I really had no direction on how to be a leader. I pretty much only had what was considered quote unquote toxic leadership that I think a lot of us that have been in the industry for a while have had. That was really my only frame of reference. I didn't really have any direction. I just knew that I didn't want to be toxic. And so with that, I kind of was coached for a while to just kind of let my employees do whatever they wanted. And what ended up happening was I had absolutely no structure in my business. And the biggest thing that happened was I was getting ghosted a lot. I didn't necessarily have an issue hiring staff. I would hire them, but then they would stick around for about a month and then I would literally just like never see them again. I froze. I didn't know what to do. And that was probably the biggest issue that I've turned around now and like actually how to lead people and how to keep them in my business and keep them happy in my business.
So, stylist retention is one of the things that all salon owners should be focused on is how can we keep our team for as long as possible in a healthy, growing environment so we can see our return on investment in them. And I think for you and me, we both kind of came from the same place. We were in quote unquote toxic commission salons and we're like, well, we never want to do that because we know how it made us feel, right? And
Mhm.
we were
Right.
in a place where we've wanted to change the industry. I think some of the things that I have realized after the last few years of trying all of these things in my business is that some of these quote unquote toxic things are not necessarily toxic, but they are needed in order to run a successful, profitable salon. Some of the things are quote unquote toxic, like gossip and different things, but some
Mhm.
of these things that were implemented, like sales goals and retail goals, and all of these things that we felt so pressured to do are actually in place so that you can have a thriving business that's secure and that is actually long lasting. What about stylist freedom do you feel wasn't cohesive and didn't create success for you?
So, given that my salon is a full service salon, so we do hair, we do nails, we do lash extensions, we do bridal, we do skincare, like all of the things. I was running into an issue with stylists like specializing, honestly. This was kind of one of the things where I almost kind of felt like gaslit into, like, oh, well, you need to let a stylist specialize in something. But when I have a lot of newer stylists that really have nowhere to go and no specialty anyway, they would say, well, I don't want to do that and I don't want to do that. And then clients would say, well, oh, I really want to book the service, but then we ended up having no one to do the service. And I thought that I was doing the right thing by my employee, but then employees and my staff would say, well, why am I not getting any clients then? Nothing will erase supply and demand. That is a law of business that no matter what, you can't get away from. You have to focus on supply and demand in your business if you want to be successful. And that is something that I've really had to turn around. And this is also something that I explain to my staff. This is one of the ways that I've sort of turned it around and kind of went back on some things that I was doing is explaining this to them. That they're not left in the dark like, well, why did we do all of this? And now you're not. Are you a toxic leader? That's not what's happening. I take the time to explain that to them so that we can all be successful.
Yeah, I would say that was definitely one of the things that I felt was quote unquote toxic with my old salon was that we were forced to do everything. And in hindsight, it did seem like, oh, such a drag to have to do things that I didn't enjoy doing. But
Hmm.
let's be honest, like that's a part of life.
Hmm.
And being pushed to do things that were outside of my comfort zone, things that I didn't necessarily like doing, made me a well rounded stylist. And
Hmm.
because I took on all the services, I ended up filling my books really quickly. It's a part of the business where we can't just do all the things that we like to do 24/7. It's just not how business works. You're right. It's about supply and demand. It's like, what can I do to become the best in the thing that I love, but also be able to accommodate people who want services and want to spend money with us so we can make sure that their client experience is exceptional. Maybe
Yep.
you do have a client for you, for example, you are a full service salon. And I feel like this is one of the things that kicked me in the ass too, because none of my team members wanted to do haircuts. Like they
Yeah.
don't want to do haircuts. And it's like, okay, but clients want to get their color done, they want to get their lightning done, and they want to get a haircut. They don't want to have to go to two places. It's about
Yep.
convenience and it's about client experience. So you got to
Exactly.
learn how to do haircuts and you have to be able to know how to do all the haircuts, a basic form of each one so that you can accommodate the client. We were really kind of fed that, oh, we're not in the service industry, we're artists.
Yeah, no, no.
No, we are in the service industry. It is about
Hmm.
servicing people and accommodating them. And I think too, like right now, we are in the era of it's the client who has the control right now. Do you
Oh
know what I
yeah,
mean?
definitely. Yep,
So
absolutely.
I think how can we best service our clients and still show our artistic creativity and doing things that are letting us express that creative side, I think is a nice balance and a way to create success.
And something that I really, really liked about that when I first heard it, like, oh, don't make your employees do stuff they don't want to do, is because of the fact that I personally hate clipper cuts. I hate them. I can't do them. I can't tell you how much training I've been to try and do them. I just can't. And so I've always used that as an example of, if you don't want to touch feet, don't do a pedicure, but I still want to honor that in a way that doesn't fuck over my business. I just think it's really important to focus on the business aspect of it while still keeping people happy. And you can do that. You don't have to have suffering on either side. Both sides, like the employee side and the business side, can be in harmony. It can work really well. It really just takes communication and being able to pivot when something isn't working. And that is something huge that I just did not feel empowered to do, is pivot when something isn't working. And I'm very, very happy that I chose to anyway, and I chose to step away from things that weren't working because I've heard horror stories of other salon owners that haven't been able to pivot and their entire business was literally destroyed.
I think being able to test and pivot is something that is so important. And it's not even about getting advice or taking advice or finding things that don't align with our business and like keep pushing through with those things. It's about being able to shift and pivot even with the economic times. I
Yes,
think some of the
absolutely.
things that, we were implementing in our business were in a time of the stylist was the prize.
Hmm.
And they worked great when there was high demand to get services done and there were not enough stylists to go around. The things that we were implementing were great for that. But what has now happened is the client is the prize. And when the economic state changes, you have to pivot your business in order to accommodate the economy and what is happening with our demographic, with, everything happening in our world, right?
Yep.
Because if you're unable to pivot and if you're unable to actually look at the facts and the data to see what's working and what's not working, then again, your business is going to fizzle out and then you are going to have to close. Being able to shift, like we're shifting our lightning menu right now. I'm
Mhm.
sure my stylists hate me, but I can see like I spent money on Google Ads and it was like $350 on Google Ads, which is not a lot, right?
Mhm.
But we had over 200 clicks on our ad for Lightning services and not one converted to a client booking. So
Wow.
in my mind, it is the last thing that is hourly on my menu.
Hmm. Yep.
Clients don't get it. So the
No.
data is showing me that this is not working for my business.
Yep.
So being able to look at the data of your business, looking at the conversion rate, and then being able to shift and pivot is something that's so important. With the coaching and education that was happening with you and I, we were pushed to just keep on doing the same thing and eventually the results would change. And
Yep.
that is not the case. I think is a
No.
lot of the downfall of some of these salons that have closed and have filed bankruptcy that we're in connection with is the inability to pivot.
Absolutely. And I think that value is another really great point when I was in coaching that I was never really talked to about. When you own a business and you're offering anything, a service, a product, whatever it is, you have to sell people on the value, not just the price. You can't just say, well, I'm an artist and so I charge 200 an hour. It doesn't actually work like that. There are successful stylists out there that do hourly and whatever, but the thing is, they've been able to do it because number one, they're independent. That's something I believe in huge. That a lot of these methods only work for independent stylists and not commission salons. And they've also been able to sell a value. When you're a commission salon owner, I know you have this, I have this too. A lot of our stylists that work for us are fresh out of school or really only 1 to 2 years in their career. And they just don't have the value yet. It doesn't mean they're never going to, but that's something that we have to lead them into is being able to talk about what they bring to their chair. And if you can't do that, then how are you charging money for anything? That's something that when I really started to focus on my client experience in my salon, I thought, okay, well, why would someone choose us? We have some of the highest haircut prices in my area. How are we going to market that? We get new client haircuts booked all of the time, but that's because we've really honed in on what we're actually offering our clients. They know that we're going to listen to them. They know that they're going to get a great haircut. They know that we don't double book. They know that we have like all these different like amenities. They're going to feel comfortable. It's, not a crazy atmosphere with like a million people in there. Like there's all of these things, right? It's going to be different for every salon. But that's something that we really hone in on when we talk about what exactly we're offering. And that's made a huge difference in our client retention.
I think knowing what your offer is and your value is so important for your marketing. Going back to value, I totally agree. Like I tried hourly pricing and I do think that it does outprice the newer stylists because of the time it takes and the value is not there. I think you're absolutely correct. I truly believe that if you have a very strong brand, vision, and mission, you can literally charge whatever you want as long as your talent and value is there,
Yeah,
right? Your
I
skill
agree.
level has to be there. And if you have a very solid brand and a very solid mission and vision, that is not only sold to the client, but also sold to the hairstylist, I think a lot of things will work for you and you can utilize certain things like hourly pricing in your business to be successful. I think where a lot of salons fall short is they don't know what is the different selling point of their business. They don't know how to communicate that to clients. They don't have a strong vision or mission, and they are just another salon. And I think a lot of these things and methods that were implemented didn't create the strong structure in order to have the industry changing things that wanted to be implemented. It was the missing pieces.
Yes. And I think when you're talking about changing the industry, I guess my question is what needs to be changed? And that may seem like a stupid question, but it's true though, because there are $1 million salons out there that are traditional salons. What are they doing that's not working? Some of these salons have great staff retention, they have great client retention. So what about that needs to be changed? Some of the salons that I've worked at that had unfavorable leadership that I would say. The issue wasn't the salon, it was them. And so the thing is that you don't need to change your entire business structure to methods that honestly don't work in order to have success because you're mad at whatever salon owner you had. Yeah, I mean, you just don't.
And that is it. There were certain things that were created by unfavorable desire to do the things that they were forced to do instead of
Mhm.
actually creating things that create results. And this is what I believe how you change our industry is creating a safe, non-toxic environment, which I hate using non-toxic because what is toxic? Like someone can
Sure.
work at my salon and say I'm toxic, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But having strong standards and making sure that your team is making a livable wage and making
Yep.
sure that the salon owner is profitable. That is how you change our industry by creating
Absolutely.
strength in the numbers that are being produced behind the chair.
Yep.
And when you create a salon owner who is profitable, who has great leadership skills, and who has their team in mind, then it's creating an amazing environment for the stylist because you can give more, you can give education, you can give benefits.
Right.
But that has to be done. I don't want to say I hate saying this, but that has to be done sometimes with more of a corporate structure
Sure.
because the
Yeah,
corporate
absolutely.
things end up working to create the numbers that can give you the resources in order to be able to give back to your team that's working for you.
Well, and there was something that you had said in posts and all of that is that your team doesn't know what to do in your business until you tell them. And it is so true. And I think that's one of the reasons that I was like getting ghosted was that I didn't know what I was doing. How can I tell someone else what to do in my business when I can't even work alongside what I'm doing? So that was a huge thing too, where I really had to take some personal responsibility for the things that I was doing and realizing that how can I build trust with people? How can I even lead people when it's not even working for myself? And looking at the facts and the data of what's actually happening in your business is seriously so huge because it doesn't always just have to say, well, do what the salon down the street is doing. Like we know that doesn't work. We know not to do that, but then the question is, well, what do I do? Like, well, we'll look at what you're actually doing. What's actually happening? And I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I didn't know that in my first year of business and why I feel like it was a waste is because I was just kind of floating through time. I didn't really know what to do. I wasn't actually paying attention to anything because I didn't know that I had to. No one ever told me, hey, this is how you do this. And, I forgive myself and all that, but sometimes I feel like an idiot because the things that I'm doing now, I'm like, oh my God, why wasn't I doing this the entire time? This is such obvious business ownership that I can't believe that I wasn't doing this. And then it makes me wonder how many other people don't know this either. And that's crazy. So.
I think a lot of people, and I would love for you to share, but a lot of people go into salon ownership blindly because they think it's the same thing as doing hair. But well, I'm successful behind the chair. I have a big clientele. Like I've built a big business. Of course, my next step is opening a salon. But in reality, being a salon owner and being a hairstylist are very different. And you cannot create a successful salon with a hairstylist mentality. Say the things that you've done in business. You're like, why haven't I been doing this the entire time? What are some of those things that you are like, oh, I'm so stupid not to have done this?
For me, it was having a really solid training program and a really solid onboarding system for new hires. A couple other things too was really, really keeping track of how much hair color we were using, how much does it cost, the percentage of actual profit per service, not doing sliding scale commission, some of those things like that, just basically not paying attention to my real actual numbers instead of just looking at the report every month because we know that's not the real number. So those were kind of the things that I thought that paying a lot of money for a business coach, I would have been told, like, well, here's how you do these things. I just never was. Before I opened my salon, I had a salon built in my basement. So I was working out of my house and I was very successful. And the reason why I opened a salon was literally because I do have a passion for this industry and I have a passion for new stylists. And I think that I'm knowledgeable and I think I'm good at what I do. And I think I am very good at the business aspect. And I think that I could really create a thriving atmosphere for stylists that love this industry as much as I do. So you're absolutely right. It's not just I have a good clientele, so I can be a business owner. It doesn't work like that. And as a matter of fact, I know several chair renters that should not be chair renters because of that. So, really making sure that I'm doing this correctly so that I can continue my mission of, having a thriving atmosphere for my new stylist is really important to me.
And I love that you were so adamant about like you need to look at the facts of your business and you need to look at the numbers. There was actually a salon owner who posted in the Facebook groups. I am obsessed with Facebook.
Yeah,
Literally, sometimes I'm like, man, people must hate me on Facebook because I don't want to say I fight with people. My opinion is very strong in some
me
areas, and
too.
I am,
I think I talk too much on those groups.
yeah,
I can only imagine
same.
that people see my comment like, oh, this bitch again,
This
but
girl again. Who the fuck is this?
yeah.
I don't even care. I'm like, yes, this is my opinion and I'm going to share it with you because you
Hmm.
asked a
Hmm.
group of people. But there was one person who posted and she's like, I feel like we're so slow. We're starting to get a little busier and I'm hoping we're on the up and up. In my mind, I'm like, we are 30% up for this year, which is like,
Hmm.
I'm doing something right by like
Hmm.
shifting what I'm doing in my business from January till now, we're 30% higher in revenue,
Yeah.
which to me, every single year in business, my revenue has increased, right? Got to fix the profit margin, but like the revenue has increased. I was like, there's something going on in your business if you are not busy right now. It is survival of the fittest right now.
Hmm.
So you
Totally.
either need to look at your client experience, you need to look at your technical, you need to look at your value and pricing, and you need to look at your marketing. Like those are the four areas, right? Like there's something broken there.
Love it.
And the person responded with, well, we have really great reviews and I don't think it's my team's talent and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, what's your retention rate? Because if your retention isn't good, then it's something that's internal that's broken. It's not client acquisition. It's like these numbers in our business will tell you what areas are needing to be refined or the areas that aren't working.
Yep.
Because if it's zero clients that are coming into the business, if her new client acquisition is down, then it's a marketing issue. But
Yep.
if her retention rate is at like 65 or 70%, then it's an internal issue. It's a client issue that is not satisfied and they're not coming back to your business. The facts of your business matter. And I think everyone's like, look at your numbers, but they're not telling you what do these numbers mean. I'm
That
looking at
is
it.
it. Yes, that's
That's
exactly
it.
it. That is the biggest thing that again, I felt like so stupid about this 2 years ago when I opened. And that's the thing, like, if any other salon owner is listening to this and being like, oh God, that's me, like, it was me too, Look at your numbers. What does that mean? Looking at all of these percentages on like how much do you actually spend on color? How much are you actually spending on retail? And every single business, even if you have multiple locations too, those locations may be different as well with what it needs. And so that's why I also strongly believe that you can't make blanket statements. You can't necessarily just simplify things because it may not need that. For some salons, they may look at their retail numbers and say, this is really good for our business. We are not great at retail. I can tell you that right now. It is what it is, and that's something that I'm kind of figuring out. For some salons, that's huge for them. So to tell someone like that, will get rid of your retail, that makes zero sense. And so that's kind of what clicked for me with the whole like look at your numbers thing is what's actually working? Like what do you feel like is successful? And then really dive deep into how that's making you money and how that actually affects your business each day. Start from there and then kind of look deeper into it and you'll find your answers.
The thing is too, like not every single business tactic is one size fits all. And I love that
Right.
you brought up the retail thing. We are not heavily retail focused. I hate retail, to be
Yeah,
honest,
me
but
too.
taking it out of my business really brought the attention to, wow, that's a revenue stream that actually was great cash flow, right? And
Hmm.
like trying to get my team on board because I have the same team members and they're like, oh, we don't have to sell retail. Fucking A, thank God. I hate selling
Yeah, yeah.
retail.
Yeah.
It is a key component for cash flow and it is a very profitable thing for a lot of salon owners. So
Hmm.
to take away that profit and to take away that cash flow completely, I think is another thing that was devastating for a lot of businesses.
For
Just to be
sure.
like, oh, move everything online. Our affiliate links were great during COVID. Again, something that worked during a time that it was needed. Going back to pivoting, like we were talking about pivoting,
Hmm. Yep.
slowly died off. And now people want to buy things when they leave the salon. And if
Hmm.
they're not going to buy from us, then they're going to look on Amazon, right? That is a thing. That is a thing
Yep.
because Amazon is cheaper. So you're right. Looking at the numbers, what is working in your business? What isn't working in your business? If something isn't working in your business, is it something that can be adjusted by you? And if not, who can you hire to fix the problem? What
Totally.
are some of the things that you feel like you've turned around that have created success for you besides looking at your numbers? Obviously, you've seen tremendous growth since making shifts and changes. What are some of the things that you've done to create success for yourself?
taking away hourly pricing. I will say that there's certain things that we still kind of use hourly as sort of like a math equation to figure out pricing. I think it's a great starting off point, but I think that having a hourly menu that is client facing, you're exactly right, is super confusing and it turns people away. So something that I was doing when I very, very first opened is we did the whole thing where we had online booking, but we also had like a new client form that clients would have to fill out a form before we would book them color and all of this. And now I know there's a lot of salons that still do this and are successful with it, but this was something that really was not successful for me. We had little to no bookings. It was only until I took hourly off the menu and I had a more like a la carte facing menu and removed the client form that our bookings shot up like literally like 40% and it keeps going up. So we've removed that and instead now what we're doing, because I know for color it's hard because I mean, let's face it, clients are not booking partial highlights and stuff anymore. It's a lot more like custom blonding and things of that nature. So what we've actually done for our color on our online booking is we have two categories. One is called going darker and one is called going lighter. So that way we know kind of what we're getting into. We have 3 tiers in each, and each tier kind of explains what they can get. And for each stylist, I edit the timing for whatever their timing is. So for the client, they can book a tier 1 and it might be 2 hours with one stylist or 3 to 4 hours with another stylist. And they can see this on online booking and it looks the same and it's seamless and everything is great. So you still kind of have that pricing transparency and that timing transparency, which I think is really important for clients. But I think it is a lot more clear to do it this way. I've just never agreed with a form. It almost kind of feels like, oh, do you want to be our client? Well, you have to apply to come here. That's what it felt like to me. And I think that that's probably what it felt like for a lot of the clients that were like, oh, I'm not going there. Like it makes me want to throw up imagining all of the business that I have lost because I made it so hard for clients to book with us.
Oh my God, this is so true. People
Yeah.
want convenience.
Yeah.
They do not want to spend a lot of time. They want it to be as easy as possible and efficient as possible. And there's
Mhm.
so many great things that you said. Hourly pricing definitely tanked my business. I was lucky that I tested it. I lost $20,000 2 months in a row.
That's insane. Like that makes me want to throw up just.
Yes. And then I brought it to the attention of the company I was
Mhm.
coaching with, and I was dismissed. And I was told that maybe it was something else. I was literally gaslit. And
Yep.
I was like, you know what? I'm changing my menu back. It's going to be hourly, but it's not going to be hourly facing to the client. And
Mhm.
with the hourly pricing, our online bookings dropped.
Yep.
And as soon as I shifted everything, then it actually went back to normal. But it was insane, again, because I'm a person that looks at the facts and the numbers. What a difference that made. I love your going lighter and going darker. I'm stealing that because we're redoing our menu. Totally
It is
stealing
worked
that.
so great because I think some of the fear with booking color, especially nowadays, you really have to customize every color now.
Mm,
It was really scary for me,
yeah,
and I can imagine it'd be scary for my new stylist as well to say, "Oh, well, this person booked a 4 hour color." Like I don't know what the hell is going on. Whereas now
exactly.
we're like, okay, at
You can
least I
prepare,
know that we're going darker. At least I
right?
know that. Okay, they booked the one that said that there might be like a color melt involved. And then that way you feel a lot more relaxed as a stylist. And your client feels relaxed too because they feel like that's been really clear in booking and they already feel like they know going into their appointment that they're already going to be a lot more understood. It was an issue with hourly, which is basically like booking blocks of time for me that clients would say, well, what is 4 hours? Like, what can you do in 4 hours? And I would explain it to them and they'd say, oh, okay. And, some people got it, sure. But like other people said, well, but this session takes 4 hours. But what happens when I just want maintenance? What just happens when I just need like my highlights touched up a little? Like, is that 4 hours? Like, do I have to pay that? Like, well, no, now it's and then you're like, oh God. What the
Yeah.
hell? But yeah, the going darker and going lighter has been a game changer for my anxiety, my numbers, everything.
I love that. I'm totally stealing that because I'm testing. It was the last thing that was on our menu was like custom lightning sessions. And
Mhm.
I totally understood where my girls were coming from. They're like, well, some people I'm just like touching up the root, but I'm putting a lot of foils in, and other people like I'm pulling through, so I need more time.
Mhm.
And, some people are giving basic partial and some people are getting a heavy partial. So hourly just makes sense. And I'm like, but it's not converting to the
No.
online booking. Like your
Mhm.
clients understand it because they're already coming to you, but it's
Yep,
blocking us from getting new clients. So
exactly.
it's like, what's the right thing? I want to keep my team happy, but at the same time, I want it to be as very understood as possible. And I want it very simple so the clients know what they're leaving with, right? What can you do in 4 hours? Does not make
Yep.
sense. Another thing is being able to easily book. I feel like having to jump through hoops, like doing the forms. Again, these were things that worked for stylists maybe 3 years ago, but
Mhm.
I'm not going to take the time to fill out a form. I literally
Yep.
saw a new company. It was like salon scale.
Okay.
It's like something AI, like color AI or something.
Okay.
And I was like, ooh, I'm really interested in this. I want information. I went to the website and then they were going to have me fill out the form. They would not let me submit the form until I filled out every single one of my stylist names. And I was like, I'm
Oh
not
no.
doing this. I abandoned ship. I'm like,
Yep.
this is too much for me. Like, why do you
Mm-mm.
need to do all of my stylist names? Let
Mhm.
me just put how many stylists work for me. Cause obviously that's
Mhm.
going to be the pricing tiered. People want fast, easy, efficient.
People also really want the human aspect to come back.
They
During
do.
COVID, these things were great, but like people are tired of that. They want to talk to a person, which is brings me to my next point. We just brought on a
Not having a phone or a front
Not
desk.
having a phone. Yes, that has been my biggest regret. When I opened my salon, I did not budget for having a receptionist or a phone or anything because I was told don't do that. And I regret it to this day. And to be honest, I still don't have the budget for it. 2 years later, I still can't afford to hire a full-time receptionist. However, we live in 2025 and there's awesome things like an answering service, which we just implemented. We use Posh. So since starting with using the answering service, it's been not even a month. We had 10 new clients book in the first week because they were able to call and talk to someone on the phone.
Yep.
That you can't make
It
this
paid
shit
for
up. Like
itself.
it did. And I just am like, this is insane. Like people want to talk to a person. I know I had to call AT&T the other day and I'm, hitting zero, like, oh my God, stop. Like I don't want this automated BS. Like I want to talk to a human, whatever. And it's like people don't actually want more automation. They just don't. No, I love online booking. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great tool. I think that it's been amazing for me. It's been amazing for my salon, whatever. But at the same time, like there's some people that get it and some people that don't. And I just think that making sure that you are as accessible as possible to people is so important for a myriad of reasons. Being able to have an option where people call. Now, we also have a text line. So there are some people that prefer to text, and that's fine. So we keep that open. Sometimes, like, I'm still kind of working this out a little bit. So there might be some changes that I'm making because it does feel a tad chaotic right now. But having different options for people to book that's most comfortable to them, that's why they're going to choose us more because we offer those options. And I think that's so important.
And it's hitting all of the different generations and the
It
different
is.
it is because
Mm-hmm.
there are some
Yeah.
people that do not want to text your older
No.
clientele. We want to be able to accommodate people
Mm-hmm.
in different phases of life, and we have some people that want to talk on the phone, we have some people that like to text, we have some people that like to book online, and
Yep.
we're accommodating to all the people so we can get them in our chair.
We lost an 83-year-old nail client because she couldn't get a hold of us. And finally, she came in on a day that someone was there and we booked her. And then she comes in for her appointment and then we rescheduled her right there just so that she wouldn't have to deal with that. Well, then a medical issue came up and she tried to get a hold of us to reschedule her appointment. And she was so mad because she couldn't get a hold of us. We use Vagaro. When it sends the reminder, it also includes cancellation policy. And so she read it and she didn't totally understand it. And so she thought that we were threatening her with like canceling her and charging her and all the things that like our cancellation policy says because she couldn't get a hold of us to reschedule her appointment and it caused her to like panic. And finally she like responded to that email and said, this makes me so upset that you would like do all these things. Now, granted, we weren't, but this makes me so upset that you would do all of these things. Like, I really just need to reschedule like my pedicure. And it made me so sad. And she's never been back. This is ridiculous. This didn't have to happen. She's 83. She lives down the street from my salon. She would have been a client for life.
Literally her whole life.
Her whole life. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And we lost her because our communication sucked. So that will probably stick with me for like ever.
And it's about how we make people feel.
Mm-hmm.
Really,
Yep.
it is. It's like, do
Yep.
you make someone feel frustrated? Well, obviously, that's not a good feeling. When someone's getting a service done, it's usually to either have self-care time or take time for themselves. So if we're making
Yep.
them feel frustrated, they're not going to come back. My
No.
husband bought me a $500 gift card to the Kohler Spa, or $400. It was like for a spa day. And I had that damn gift card for 5 years. 5 years I had that gift card because their online booking was not convenient.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted my credit card, and I was like, I don't want to give my credit card. I mean, I shouldn't care about that, but it's like I have a gift card. I'm
Yeah.
weird about that because, like, literally the number has been stolen a million times, and I'm like, oh, I
Right.
really don't want to do this. So I held
Mhm.
on to it for 5 years because it wasn't convenient to book. I would have never have gone there if I didn't have a gift card. It really is about like what is the easiest process for our guests and what is going to make them feel the most secure and feel like they trust us and make them excited about the services they're receiving from us.
I just imagine what I would have been told in the past about our 83-year-old client, right? And I would have been told, well, she's just not the right fit for your business. And it's like, how fucked up is that? Like,
Yeah.
honestly, like that is crazy.
I feel like there are clients that come into our business that aren't a right fit. I don't want to, again, use the word toxic, but like abusive. Those are not
Oh,
the right
yeah.
people for our business. But an
Right.
83-year-old woman who just wants to get her nails done and wants it to be easy as possible and convenient because you're right down the street, like, how is that not a good fit for you?
100,000%. Yep.
Mhm. Well, thank you so much for spending the time with me, and
Yeah.
tell people how they can get in contact with you and where they can find you on social.
So my salon is Forest Moon Collective. So on Instagram, it's forestmoon.collective. My Instagram is KailiRenee.artistry. So Kaili Renee.artistry. I'm on there a lot. I've actually been upping my marketing a ton, so I'm
Love
excited
it.
about that. So
Good.
see all the work I'm doing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me, and we'll be chatting soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Elevate podcast. If you loved this episode, it would mean the world to me if you would leave a review on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen. The Elevate podcast is hosted by me, Patricia Nowakowski, and is produced by Opulent Beauty Pro. To receive my free business guides, visit opulentbeautypro.com/free or click the link in the show notes. You can find me on Instagram at Opulent Beauty Pro or at Patricia_Nowakowski_OBS. If you love this show, please consider subscribing, and we will see you next week.